Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide to your daily journey through the past to empower the future. Today is Thursday, July 10, 2025. As we do every Thursday, we're exploring a fascinating cultural practice that has profoundly influenced human civilization. Today, we turn our attention to Viking Age culture, the remarkable civilization that emerged from Scandinavia between roughly 793 and 1066 CE. Far from being merely brutal raiders, the Vikings developed a sophisticated culture that valued exploration, craftsmanship, storytelling, and democratic governance while creating one of history's most extensive maritime networks. What makes Viking culture particularly fascinating is how it combined fierce warrior traditions with advanced seafaring technology, democratic assemblies, and rich artistic expression. Their influence extended from Greenland to Constantinople, fundamentally shaping medieval European development and leaving lasting impacts on language, law, and culture. So let's explore this extraordinary civilization, examining their social structure and values, their revolutionary shipbuilding and navigation techniques, their rich literary and artistic traditions, and their lasting influence on the cultures they encountered. Viking society emerged in Scandinavia during the late 8th century, developing from earlier Germanic and Norse cultures. The harsh northern environment shaped a people who valued self-reliance, courage, and adaptability while creating social structures that could survive in challenging conditions. Contrary to popular stereotypes, Viking society was highly organized and sophisticated. Their social structure included jarls, nobles, karls, free farmers, and thralls, slaves, with significant social mobility possible through military success, trade, or craftsmanship. This system provided more flexibility than many contemporary European societies. The Thing, or popular assembly, formed the cornerstone of Viking governance. These democratic gatherings allowed free men to participate in making laws, settling disputes, and making important community decisions. The Althing in Iceland, established in 930 CE, is considered one of the world's oldest parliaments. Women in Viking society enjoyed considerably more rights and freedoms than their counterparts in most medieval cultures. They could own property, request divorces, and run households and businesses independently. Some women, like the legendary shield maidens, may have even participated in warfare alongside men. Viking religious beliefs centered on Norse mythology, with gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya playing central roles in their worldview. Their concept of Valhalla, where brave warriors would feast eternally after death in battle, encouraged the martial valor that made Viking warriors so formidable. However, Viking culture was far more than warfare. They were skilled craftsmen who created beautiful jewelry, weapons, and everyday objects using advanced metalworking techniques. Their intricate knotwork designs and animal motifs influenced artistic development throughout Northern Europe. The Vikings were also master storytellers whose oral traditions preserved their history, mythology, and values through elaborate sagas and poems. These stories, later written down in medieval Iceland, provide some of our best insights into Viking culture and continue to influence literature today. Perhaps most remarkably, the Vikings were unparalleled seafarers whose shipbuilding technology enabled them to travel farther than any previous European culture. Their longships, with shallow drafts and symmetrical designs, could navigate both open seas and shallow rivers with equal effectiveness. Viking navigation techniques were extraordinarily sophisticated, utilizing sun compasses, crystal navigation aids, and detailed knowledge of ocean currents, wind patterns, and celestial movements. These skills enabled them to reach Iceland, Greenland, and North America centuries before Columbus. Their expansion began with raids on coastal monasteries and towns, but quickly evolved into trade, exploration, and settlement. Vikings established trading posts from Ireland to Russia, creating commercial networks that connected Northern Europe with Constantinople, Central Asia, and even North America. In England, Vikings initially arrived as raiders but eventually settled large areas, particularly in northern and eastern England in regions known as the Danelaw. Their influence on English language, law, and culture was profound, with thousands of Norse words entering English vocabulary. The Vikings founded major cities including Dublin, York, and Kiev, while their democratic traditions influenced legal development in England and other regions they settled. The English jury system shows clear Viking influences, demonstrating how their governmental practices spread beyond Scandinavia. In France, Vikings established the Duchy of Normandy, where they adopted French language and customs while maintaining their martial traditions. These Norman Vikings would later conquer England in 1066, fundamentally altering English history and culture. Viking exploration reached its zenith with their voyages to North America. Led by Leif Erikson around 1000 CE, they established settlements in what is now Newfoundland, becoming the first Europeans to reach the Americas. Though these settlements were temporary, they demonstrate the remarkable scope of Viking expansion. Their cultural impact extended eastward as well. Swedish Vikings, known as Varangians, traveled down Russian rivers to establish trading relationships with the Byzantine Empire. They founded the Kievan Rus, which became the foundation for later Russian and Ukrainian states. Viking trade networks were extensive and sophisticated. They traded amber, furs, and iron from the north for silver, silk, and spices from the south. Archaeological evidence shows Viking artifacts from North America to Central Asia, demonstrating the vast reach of their commercial activities. The gradual Christianization of Scandinavia during the 10th and 11th centuries transformed Viking culture while preserving many of its distinctive elements. Kings like Harald Bluetooth of Denmark and Olaf Tryggvason of Norway promoted Christianity while maintaining traditional warrior values. The end of the Viking Age is traditionally dated to 1066, with the deaths of Harold Hardrada at Stamford Bridge and the Norman conquest of England. However, Scandinavian culture continued to influence European development long after the classical Viking period ended. Modern archaeology has revealed much about daily Viking life, showing a culture that valued cleanliness, craftsmanship, and family relationships. Viking homes were well built and comfortable, while their personal hygiene practices were advanced for their time, including regular bathing and grooming. Viking women's roles were more complex than often portrayed. While some may have been warriors, most focused on managing households, which in Viking society included significant economic and social responsibilities. Their textile work was particularly sophisticated, producing both practical and decorative items. The Vikings' environmental adaptation was remarkable. They developed farming techniques suited to northern climates, raised hardy livestock breeds, and created preservation methods that allowed them to survive long winters and ocean voyages. Their shipbuilding technology represented one of medieval Europe's greatest technological achievements. The flexibility and strength of Viking ships enabled them to survive ocean storms while remaining light enough to be carried overland between waterways. Viking legal traditions emphasized compensation rather than punishment, with complex systems for resolving disputes and preventing blood feuds. These approaches influenced legal development throughout Northern Europe and provided alternatives to the purely authoritarian systems common elsewhere. The cultural legacy of the Vikings extends far beyond their historical period. Their democratic traditions, exploration spirit, and artistic achievements continue to influence modern Scandinavian societies, while their stories and symbols remain powerful elements in popular culture worldwide. The Viking emphasis on individual courage, democratic participation, and exploration of unknown territories provides inspiration for contemporary societies facing their own challenges. Their example shows how small populations can have outsized historical impacts through innovation, determination, and adaptability. Modern environmentalism can learn from Viking approaches to living sustainably in challenging environments. Their practices of resource conservation, seasonal adaptation, and respect for natural forces offer valuable insights for contemporary sustainability efforts. The Vikings' success in creating inclusive societies that valued both individual achievement and collective decision-making provides models for modern democratic development. Their Thing assemblies demonstrated that democratic governance could function effectively even in decentralized societies. Viking culture also illustrates the complex relationship between violence and civilization. While known for their martial prowess, they also created sophisticated legal systems, artistic traditions, and commercial networks that contributed to European cultural development. The preservation of Viking cultural heritage has become increasingly important as climate change and development threaten archaeological sites throughout Scandinavia. Museums and cultural institutions work to maintain this legacy for future generations. Contemporary interest in Viking culture reflects both fascination with their achievements and recognition of their continuing relevance. Their stories of exploration, courage, and democratic participation resonate with modern values while providing insights into alternative ways of organizing society. Viking Age culture stands as one of medieval Europe's most dynamic and influential civilizations, demonstrating how societies can thrive through innovation, exploration, and democratic governance. Their legacy continues to shape our understanding of medieval history and provides inspiration for contemporary challenges. The Vikings remind us that cultural influence often extends far beyond military conquest, with their lasting impacts on language, law, literature, and democratic traditions demonstrating the power of cultural exchange and adaptation in shaping human civilization. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of Viking Age culture. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our Economic Milestones episode examining the establishment of the World Trade Organization and its role in shaping modern global commerce. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. What aspects of Viking culture do you find most impressive or relevant to understanding modern democratic and maritime traditions? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm your guide for History Explained, where we believe that understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.